I'm Larry Mac here on a Zoom call with Buck Dharma and Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult. 96.1 KLPX has been playing two new tunes from the band. That Was Me and Box in My Head off their new album, a new studio album called The Symbol Remains. It's going to be out on October 9th. Now, guys, it's been almost 2 decades since your last studio album, Curse of the Hidden Mirror. Why so long between studio albums?
I think we woke up next to Rip Van Winkle.
Just out of the blue decided to do it?
No, it was time to do it. This band that the current iteration of Blue Oyster Cult's been together over a decade with the same guys, and it was high time to do something.
All right. And when did you guys go in the studio?
Starting last fall, we rehearsed in the summer, and we did the tracking fall into winter last year, and we finished it under lockdown.
Wow. So you guys are in different cities right now, from what I gather.
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Yeah, I'm in Maryland.
So did you do a lot of this on lockdown in your individual studios, and with the technology today, just send stuff back and forth to each other, or were you able to get into one studio and do it all together?
Oh, we started in a studio in sort of upstate New York, a little bit north of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And then when COVID hit, we did all the balance of the tracks at home through the miracle of the internet.
Technology is an amazing thing. Did you guys think when you got together all those years ago that this would even be a feasibility?
No. It's a good thing. It's a good thing the tools are available, because we were constrained from being with each other, and we all had our DAWs at home, and we looked over each other's shoulder through Zoom and apps like that.
It's amazing with the technology. Now, you guys, obviously, I believe, Eric, you do lead vocals on That Was Me, and then Buck, you're on Box in My Head. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys decide who sings the lead on individual songs that you guys do?
It's primarily who writes them, with exceptions, but that's generally the way it goes. You know, we write for our own voices in general.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about each of the songs?
Go ahead,
Well,
Eric.
on That Was Me, actually, what Buck said is I'd say 90% true, except a couple of the songs I wrote with Richie. We wrote Tainted Blood together, but when he demoed the song out, because I couldn't be in his house, I thought he sang the demo so well that I thought he should sing it, even though I sort of created the song at the beginning. And then when it came time to work on more material, he wrote a song called The Alchemist, and he which was actually written 4 or 5 years ago. He was very generous, and he thought I should sing his song. So sometimes that rule doesn't be 100% true. But on That Was Me, you're asking where the song came from?
Mm-hmm.
Look, it was generated lyric first from a lyric by John Shirley, who we've been working with for a number of years. John Shirley is a West Coast author of, I guess, I wouldn't call it sci-fi, but sometimes some people call it cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a very prolific writer. He has actually done some screenplays and books, short stories. And Sandy Perlman put us together with him. Sandy was our mentor and created, put the band members together originally, the Blue Oyster Cult members. And he introduced us to John Shirley as a lyricist, and we used him as a lyricist on the last 2 albums. And he sends us lyrics by email.
Oh, wow.
And sent us Box in My Head, and That Was Me, and a couple of other lyrics, right, Don?
Yep. Yeah, John's. We've worked with John for almost 20 years now, or I guess about 20 years. And
Yeah, so the funny story about That Was Me is Richie and I wrote that song, maybe 2/3 of it, a couple of years ago, and had forgotten about it. I was over at his house a couple of years ago. We worked on that song and sort of put it aside as unfinished. And then when we started working on this record, I was over at his house, and we had that lyric and started looking at like a file of John Shirley lyrics, And we said, wait a minute, didn't we work on this song a couple of years ago? And we had forgotten that we had written most of it before. And I said, yeah, and we played it. Yeah, this isn't bad. We wrote this song already. And then we didn't have a bridge. So we came up with a bridge and finished it up. And so there it is, now the opening track on the new album.
And then Box in My Head, Buck, where does that song come from?
Again, that's another John Shirley lyric. I tend to choose the Shirley lyrics that I think I can do a good job on. And Box in My Head, when I read the story, which is, of course, a guy explaining how complicated his inner mind is, it's a box within a box, etc. And I thought a power pop song would be the way to portray that lyric, and that's what I did. And so that's how that came about.
So the new album is called The Symbol Remains. It's going to be out October 9th. Where did you get the title from the album?
Tell the story.
I went through I have a sort of a songbook, a Blue Oyster Cult lyric.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked through all the lyrics. First of all, getting us all to agree on anything is almost impossible. And that goes back to the original five guys. We could never agree on anything. And that goes for album cover artwork or song titles or anything.
True
So I figured I'd start early. So several months ago, I went through Perlman lyrics because I figured going back to the original stuff would be the ticket on this, and using Sandy as a base because he was so prolific with lyrics. So I went back through the Imaginos album and many other Sandy lyrics, and I just wrote down all the phrases I thought might be cool for the title. And then I sent it out to Steve Shank, who's he's our manager and also a co-producer of this album, and generally our partner in all Blue Oyster Cult ventures. And we both liked The Symbol Remains. So we sent it off to Don, and we did some bouncing back and forth of ideas. And that's the title that stuck.
And here we are.
And it comes from a Sandy Perlman lyric of a song called The Shadow of California.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like our hardcore fans like it. So I guess it's turning out to be good.
It honors Sandy's memory too. Sandy's no longer with us. He passed away about a year and a half ago.
So it's a great way to honor him as well. So with this, who is in the band? You just mentioned the group has been around in this incarnation for the past decade. Who's in the group besides you two?
Go ahead, Don.
Okay, Richie Castellano is introduced as the third lead vocalist on this record, and he's a co-producer and guitar player, and Jules Rodino on drums, and Danny Miranda on bass. Jules has been with us for 14, 15 years. Richie is about the same. Danny was with us in the aughts for about 6 years, and then he left us and did the Queen World Tour with Paul Rodgers. Then after that, he played with Meatloaf for a few years, and now he's back with us again. He's been with us for about 3 years now. So we're a seasoned bunch of guys as far as the personnel goes. This band was just crying to be recorded because it's so vital and so good. And when we got done with this record, it was really obvious that what you're getting is Blue Oyster Cult 2020, even though it's immediately familiar with Eric and me doing what we do.
How many tracks are on the new record?
14.
14.
Yes.
Yeah, we decided to put everything we were working on the record because it all came out good. So we said, okay, let's put it all on.
Obviously, when you put out a record, the next thing you guys do is usually hit the road. And you guys have been a very prolific touring band. I've seen you a ton of times, most recently here in Tucson at the Rialto Theater. It feels like it was just a year ago, but with COVID, it probably was 2 years ago. Any plans or any word that you're hearing about a tour for 2021 possibly? Or are you guys just kind of like with a lot of other bands, just kind of waiting to see what happens with the pandemic?
The dates
Well,
are
we're getting booked.
Oh, you're getting booked. Okay.
We're getting booked, but I mean, everything, like every other business, it's all getting pushed forward, and we'll see what happens, what becomes real.
All right. Yeah, everything in the radio side is everything's on hold too. I mean, as you can tell, this is not a regular studio. I'm broadcasting from my spare bedroom at my house because we're all trying
Yeah,
to.
I have a friend of mine who's a comedian, and he says all his buddies are comedians, and they're all out of work, and it's like Broadway, they're all out of work. It's everything's getting pushed into the future. Let's hope it all gets cleared up as soon as possible.
Yes, we're all hoping that for sure. Um, so obviously, you guys have a website. You want to plug your website real quick and any social media things that you guys want to hit
BlueOysterCult.com is the BOC Central for all news and information about Blue Oyster Cult. And of course, Buck and I both have websites, buckdharma.com, ericbloom.net. But really, the main place is blueoystercult.com for all our news.
Okay. Anything you want to tell your fans before we wrap things up here about the future of Blue Oyster Cult? Did you find other songs when you were writing this album that might there be another album around the corner after this?
We'll see how it goes.
Well, this one isn't even out yet, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, those
We just
fans,
want
they always
people
want to know
to
what's
check
coming
out
up.
this record. Yeah.
Oh, great. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Buck and Eric, I appreciate everything. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy days. I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully in 2021 here in Tucson, Arizona.
Well, there are 2 videos out as we're doing this piece on That Was Me and Box in My Head, and they're out on YouTube. And there will be 2 more videos before the October 9th release, at least one more, maybe another. So I think there'll be a Tainted Blood video before October 9th. And I think they're going to work on The Alchemist. We did some, matter of fact, Don, why don't you tell the story about how we made those videos?
Oh, yeah. Love to hear that.
We went to New York at a video studio, actually in a high school. It was like Steve Shank's daughter's high school. They have a $1 million facility that wasn't doing anything, being the school was shut down. And we got permission to work there. And we all showed up and we all had masks on, of course, but we individually got in front of a green screen and did our live performance part of the video that way. And it was great to get together. We hadn't seen each other since July. And we had Albert Bouchard, the original BOC drummer, come down because he's in That Was Me, played the cowbell and sings backgrounds. So we're all hanging out and doing our video shoot. And then after that, the backgrounds and the band together, it was composited in a computer, and that's how we did it.
All right. And then, you know, you brought it up, so I got to ask you, do you guys ever get sick and tired of the SNL thing with the cowbell, or is it something that you guys have embraced?
We've certainly made our peace with it. You know, I guess we're as sick and tired as Christopher Walken is, I guess.
No, we embraced the cowbell.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I saw you guys perform at Alice Cooper's Christmas Pudding Show a couple of years ago, and you were performing. It was just the 2 of you. And one of the guys from one of the other bands, I forget who it was, suddenly just jumped on the stage behind you and was just hitting a cowbell throughout the entire song.
Yeah, that was Alice's drummer.
That was Alice's drummer. Okay, I remember that. And I remember seeing Sebastian Bach on the side. He was just in heaven watching you guys on the stage. I could just see, like, you could tell that you're one of his musical heroes. And it was just great to see another musician watching somebody that inspired him as well.
Yeah, it was fun to see him. I hadn't seen him in probably 25 years or so.
Yeah, we were very pleased that Alice asked us to come out there to do that benefit. And our first tour ever was opening for Alice Cooper in 1972 on the Killer Tour.
Oh, it was? Oh, that's great. Yeah, Alice, we run his show weeknights. He's got that Nights with Alice Cooper show. We run him we were one of the first stations, obviously being an Arizona station. When he came available, we jumped on that right away. Because
we were doing We're Not Worthy way before anybody else.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. Yeah, the Alice Cooper band really taught us a lot about how to be a big-time arena rock band.
Well, you know, it's amazing how many people he has inspired over the years, and I didn't know that about you guys, so thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you. Eric, Buck, thank you so much for spending time with me today. Again, blueoystercult.com is your website, and then you have your individual sites as well.
Yes, and also the Blue Oyster Cult on Facebook. That's a lot of information comes out of there.
All right, great. Guys, hold on the line. I'm going to see if I can get one more thing from you before we wrap things up. But again, the new album is going to be out on October 9th. It's called The Symbol Remains. I'm going to thank Eric and Buck. Thank you so much for spending time with us today here on KLPX.com. And of course, we'll be playing snippets of this interview as well at 96.1 KLPX.